All right, 25 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. I know you have been asked, Robin, if you will help somebody move.
Yes.
And I have been asked, would you help us move, please?
Yes.
And this is what you normally get. I got about 20 people that are going to come over. We're going to move. It shouldn't be much work. Everybody's going to help out, and at the end we'll have some beer and pizza. Should be, right? And then and it's usually you and me who shows up, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's so much work. I had a friend who lived in Lake Wales who was moving, and I went down to help him move, and the whole apartment was empty, except for a few tiny little things. He had a mattress on the floor, and a little table, and a lamp, and not much else. That was about all he had. And I said, oh, you already moved everything? He said, no, this is it. This is it. Yeah, he truly practiced that whole minimalist lifestyle. Courtney Carver has been writing about the minimalist lifestyle a lot. She's one of the top bloggers in the world on the subject of minimalism. She's the creator of the Minimalist Fashion Challenge, Project 333. We'll have to find out what that's about. She was featured in which is the Oprah magazine, and Real Simple. And her book is called Soulful Simplicity. If you're looking at the podcast, that's the cover of the book that I found on Amazon. How Living with Less Can Lead to So Much More. Courtney Carver. Good morning, Courtney. How are you?
Hi, very well. Thank you.
And where are you right now?
I live in Salt Lake City.
So do you think it's easier for somebody who grew up with nothing to live with nothing when they get older, regardless of how much they make?
I really don't know the answer to that question. Sorry to start with that way, but I'm not sure.
I often wondered that, only because the guy I was referring to, I mean, he's doing really well for himself, but he kind of came from a really poor home. I knew him when he was a teenager, and but I can't imagine, like, the friends that I had up in New York that lived the silver spoon in the mouth. They always have these homes filled with stuff. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. It's not minimalist in any way.
Yeah, I've seen it in both situations where people grow up with not a lot that then want to compensate and try to have everything.
Yeah. So where are you?
And then, like you're mentioning,
Courtney, where are you calling from?
From Salt Lake City.
Okay. Thank you for getting up early to be with us. So out there. So tell me about the book. Did you write the book so that we can all learn to live with? What's the line from the John Lennon song? Imagine no possessions. I often wondered if John Lennon could live with no possessions. He had a lot of possessions.
Well, it's definitely not living with no possessions.
Yeah.
But maybe less than what we have, because we have so much.
And so do you do that? I mean, what does your apartment look like, or your home?
So I have a 900 square foot apartment, and I do own things, but not a lot of things.
It sounds hollow. I mean, are you in there right now? Because it does sound hollow.
I am, but I think it might be our connection, because I can hear some
okay.
feedback.
You also had something on your personal story you share in the book of being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Yeah, that was kind of my wake-up call in 2006 to really rethink my crazy, busy, overstuffed life.
So how were you able to adjust to the regimen of being treated for MS, but then on the other hand trying to live a normal life while downsizing and really deciding what's really important and what's not?
Yeah, well, at first it didn't feel normal at all. It felt sad and scary, and I was just trying to figure out how to live well with MS. And a combination of a great neurologist and major lifestyle changes, I was able to do that. So reducing stress by getting rid of the busyness and stuff and obligations. Yeah.
So when we talk about minimalist, it's not just physical possessions, but it's also things that you're involved in. I can relate to this. Like sometimes doing radio, Robert and I get asked to do fundraisers all the time, and you hate to say no because this is a good organization doing good things with the money they raise, but you find yourself running ragged so we need to minimize the number of fundraisers we do, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you do less, you can give more to the things that you are doing.
And you state in your book, first off, is that you had to take a reevaluation of yourself before you could feel comfortable about moving forward and making the changes that were necessary.
I did, because I noticed that so often the things that I was doing weren't because they were what I wanted to do, but what I thought other people wanted me to do.
And that's always hard because you have a little bit of guilt feelings if you don't try to do what the other people want you to do. That's stress.
Sometimes, but once you realize how powerful it is to do what you want to do and what's best for you, it becomes easier and easier.
And the money also, the financial part of a person's life, that's always a huge stress factor.
Definitely. It was for me. I went into debt when I was 18 and never came up for air until my late 30s.
Oh my gosh.
I think a lot of us can relate to that. So tell me about the transition for yourself. Was there an aha moment? Was there a pivotal time? Was it the disease, maybe, of the MS? So what exactly brought you to this way of thinking?
It was definitely the MS diagnosis that started me on this path.
Okay.
And once I saw the changes I was making were rooted in simplicity, I just wanted more or less.
And did you do something to do that? I mean, did you move out? Did you throw things away? Did you get a tent? What did you do?
Oh, that was a good idea. I should have started with a tent. No, I started with my diet by simplifying my diet, and then my debt, and then stuff, and then work. So one thing at a time, very slowly.
And what changes
make
did you?
Sure that it would stick.
What changes did that cause? Was it physical changes or what?
Everything. I mean, physical changes, mental changes. I am happier and healthier and calmer.
And when you brought up the word diet, that was part of the things that you bring up the topic, doing things that a person doesn't want to do, but you feel you have to do.
Yeah, we have to do things we don't want to do so we can do the things we want to do. And for me, one of those things was eating greens. Like, I wasn't excited to eat kale and lots of healthy food, but I knew that if I would do that, it would help my energy levels and make me feel better.
Makes sense, doesn't it? The book is called Soulful Simplicity. It's a very profound look, I guess, at just kind of cutting back and letting yourself enjoy life. Is that part of it, do you think, Courtney, that you're enjoying life some more than you were before?
100%, because instead of giving all my attention and energy to the stuff that doesn't matter, I have room for what does.
And we learned you were the creator of the Minimalist Fashion Challenge, the Project 333. We work here in a mall, and then we have the luxury of seeing all the people walk by with the different, such a variety of wardrobes and things. How have you been able to help people stay in fashion very minimally?
Well, the fashion challenge has really helped because it proves a lot of the fashion myths wrong, that you always need new things, that you need to stay on trend, that you need better, more in your closet to look good. I find that most people look better when they're choosing from a smaller selection of their favorite things.
Yeah.
And I do agree with that, because if a person is wearing something that might be in today's fashion and they don't feel comfortable in it, they don't look as good as if they would wear something that they feel that they look great in.
That's right. And not to mention, we're exhausted from all those fashion decisions. Like every day, what am I going to wear? I have nothing to wear.
Oh, exactly.
Do you know one area I can really see this helping out in? When you look at popular culture and you want to be the guy or the girl who keeps up with the rest of the world, right? And you find out there's a new Star Wars movie, there's a new play or something, there's a team you're supposed to keep up with, there's politics, you're supposed to know everything about what they're arguing about on talk radio. And next thing you know, you're so bombarded with all these external thoughts that have nothing really to do with you. I came across this kind of realization in my own life. I went through a divorce about 27 years ago now. It's been a long time. But I remember before the divorce, I was kind of a news junkie. And I would watch the news. I would try to make sure I was up to date on everything. And then when my divorce happened, I thought, okay, I'm so stupid. I was paying more attention to the world than I was to my own world. And hopefully I changed. I don't think I'm as much of a news junkie, even though I work in news. But I don't think I'm as much of a junkie regarding the news anymore.
Yeah, I think it's important to take information fast, because it's overwhelming and exhausting and scary to be so plugged in all the time. I think we can be informed without being totally immersed in what's going on around us.
And when a person's a parent and they're raising children, sometimes children will see things and say, I want this, I want that. How do you help them discern between wants and needs?
Well, you have to walk the walk. I think we can tell our children things all day long, but unless we're really reinforcing the message through our actions, they're going to keep doing what we do. So we can't be, for instance, telling our kids to get off their phones while we're on our phones, or telling our kids not to get new things, or they can't have new things while we're constantly buying new things. So really reinforcing the message by being true to what you believe.
Oh, exactly.
So in minimalizing your diet, did you just stick to like the produce section, or like you stayed away from the middle of the grocery store, as they say? I mean, did you do that kind of thing?
Yeah, at first what I did is eliminated most animal products from my diet, and I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not recommending this for anyone else, but for me, that was the first part in simplifying my diet and reducing inflammation and stress in my body.
Right. Did it help?
Now I just try to lean towards real food.
Did the change in diet help with the MS?
It definitely did. I think all the changes that I've made have really helped. I mean, I haven't had a relapse in 9 years.
Wow. You know, I've often thought, I was kidding about, I was half kidding, I guess, about the tent, but I've often thought I'd like to be the guy who has the little tent and just kind of travel from one city to the next. And you would have no choice but to be minimalist. You'd have to live like that.
Definitely. I mean, I think it definitely helps you to be more mobile, to live with less, but everybody wants something different, and I think really tapping into what that is the first step.
Do you know what's interesting? The cover of the book, by the way, if you're looking at the podcast, that is the cover of the book. It's got like this very simplistic painting, but yet very elegant and very beautiful. So simplicity doesn't have to mean less beautiful or anything. I mean, there's an example right there of a beautiful painting. It looks like it was probably done with, 3 colors and a brush.
Yeah, thank you. I agree. I think that simplicity can be lovely and beautiful and warm and inviting.
So do you ever backtrack? Do you ever have moments where you're starting to find yourself being too drawn into the non-simplicity, where you, I guess, have the anxiety level increasing?
Not so much. I really, I have a lot of accountability with the blog and the community that I've formed and with my family, and I enjoy this way of life so much more. I've done it the other way, and I know what it's like, and that inspires me to steer clear of that.
Are you married and do you have children?
I am. I'm married, and I have a 22-year-old daughter.
Okay.
So she was about 12 when we started this whole journey.
And was it easy for her and your husband?
I don't know if it was easy for them or not, but I know that I didn't really push my changes on them. I really stayed focused on my own stuff. Even though it was tempting to want to tell my husband he should pare down his closet, I knew I had a lot of work to do in my own closet first.
And that really is a profound statement, because so many times there are other people that can see things that they think are wrong with other people, but they don't clean up and put their own house in order first.
Exactly. And not to mention, us wanting other people to change doesn't make them want to change. So if I was just nagging them all the time saying, you guys should simplify, you should clean your closets, I think they would probably have rebelled and become massive hoarders. So I just kept my eyes on my own paper in the beginning.
How do you help people keep from doing that, from being hoarders, from just when you see when they go to the doctor and the doctor suggests they have to eat differently? How do you give them the courage to say, okay, this is something I'm going to do. I know it's hard, but this is the best thing?
Yeah, I invite them to really understand their motivation for change. Why do they want to change? And it has to be a reason that really resonates with their heart. It can't be a superficial, I want to lose 10 pounds for my high school reunion.
Right.
It has to be, I want to lose 10 pounds because otherwise I'm going to get sick, or I'm not going to sleep well.
Robin and I sort of simplified something in our lives. We were performers of music besides the radio show we do. And we used to take the guitars and the sound system, and we'd set up on a stage. We'd have lights. We'd have confetti. We would do whatever we could to make it a big show. And then we said, you know what? I don't like this at all. We decided to stop doing that. And now we have 2 instruments, and we'll sit on the sidewalk without any sound system. It's so nice. You just walk up, you sit down, you start playing. It's just, I don't know. It's just.
I love it.
Yeah, I think we've followed your lead without realizing it a little bit. The book is called Soulful Simplicity. I did find it on Amazon. Do you have a website for the book?
I have my own website, bemorewithless.com, where you can find the book, but it's also on most major resellers or booksellers, and hopefully in your local bookstores as well.
And when people come to you and ask you for your professional opinion and the observations that you have on how they can help themselves fit into a new lifestyle, what is one of the main things that you point out to them?
Well, I guess I'd put it back to them and ask them, what's the most stressful area of your life? Because we're all struggling with different things at one time or another, and I think addressing the most challenging thing in the beginning is sometimes good, because you can get that out of the way and motivate the next change.
And how about spirituality? How does that play a part?
Yeah, it's a big part for me. I think not only the spirituality element, but really reconnecting with myself and remembering who I was and what I stood for and what mattered to me. That's been a big part of my spiritual journey and healing process.
Does the book tour, having a new book, is always a high anxiety for an author? Does this kind of, is it ironic for you that you have to be doing all these interviews? And I mean, it's almost not simplistic right now for you, right?
Well, interestingly enough, it really is, because I created the book tour and scheduled it in such a way that I would have time to visit with friends and rest and enjoy my travels.
Really? See, it just sounds so good to me. I should do this. I should do this. How many times have you gone to the beach like for the weekend and wish you could live like that all the time, right? Just nice. Just nothing.
And that's one of your topics in the book, is staging a busy boycott. So I thought that was very clever of you to come up with that phrase.
Thank you. Yeah, I had to do that in my life because it was crazy busy, and I was so sick of hearing about it and talking about it. And I just thought, what if we could stop telling each other how busy we are all the time? Mm-hmm. Maybe that would be a start in the right direction, because, yeah, maybe we are busy, but we don't need to reinforce that message by every other, conversation is about, oh, how are you? I'm so busy. I'm busy. I'm crazy busy. So I recommend that people just ban the word for 7 days and see what happens.
Or even just putting away the cell phone when a person is driving. I mean, that way you can just soak up the area that you're driving through, and you don't have to worry about talking to people or planning out your day. This gives you a time just for yourself.
Exactly, and not to mention how dangerous it is to be on your phone in the car. And I was guilty of that for many years, but I couldn't remember half my rides home.
Do you know?
Oh my gosh!
When my mom passed away, I had the chore of taking all of her possessions out of her house and divvying them up with the family and trying to figure out what to do with the pictures. And the pictures was the biggest thing, the photographs, because there's so many of them. There are. I am not exaggerating.
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many photographs, and it was almost like, you know how when you're going through your own stuff, you say, "What do I need? I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need this." But you don't want to take somebody else's stuff and say, we don't need this, But I found pictures of birthday cakes, and I thought, why do we need a picture of a birthday cake? Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to say, oh, look how good that looked.
Yeah, exactly.
So I had to simplify a little bit by I don't know, it felt weird to be throwing away some of my mom's stuff, but I don't think, if she's looking from heaven, I don't think she's saying, oh, you should have kept that picture of that birthday cake.
Oh, yeah. I think so, too.
Let's see. I want to give the book away. If I have a listener who would like the book, Soulful Simplicity, you want the book? You do? Come on in. Come on in. She's going to come in. There's a lady outside the window. I usually get people to call in. There's a lady outside the window. Courtney Carver, let's see. You gave us the website, bemorewithless.com. Here's your book. Look at that. You will just happen to be standing out the window at the right time. There's the book.
Thank you.
There you go.
Appreciate it.
Wow, that was a simple giveaway.
Hey, was that an example of simplicity or what? That was very simple, right?
I think so.
Totally was.
You can get the book on the website, right?
You can, or any Amazon, Barnes & Noble, anywhere.
Okay. What's for lunch today, Courtney? What are you going to make?
I'm going to make eggs and potatoes and spinach for lunch.
Eggs and potatoes and
How about
spinach. Well, I'm trying to follow your lead. Something
Nice.
simple. I'm good with eggs. Potatoes? What do you do? Microwave them? How do you do potatoes?
No, I don't microwave them.
Did you get rid of your microwave? Is that part of simplicity?
It's actually part of our apartment. It's in here, but we just don't use it.
Oh, really? Well, thank you for being on the air with us. It's a fun. This is a relaxing interview. You're a relaxing person.
Oh, thanks. Well, it's great to talk to you guys.
And I'm going to follow your lead. I think I really need to be more simple, Robin. I'm pretty simple-minded, but I mean,
No.
I need to pare down whatever I do.
Less hectic schedules.
Yes. Courtney, thank you for being on the show with us today.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
Well, the holiday rush is over, and it's time to return the ties, the knitted sweaters, and those presents that didn't quite make the nice list. And go try something you've always wanted to, like learning to fly. At Ocala Aviation, they make it fun and easy